but what can you do to make it a thankful Tuesday beyond this environment? So now we're talking about now how to take these words, apply application that will lead to a transformation that will make a significant difference. And from that, the classroom started creating what they call the wall of inspiration. And so they posted a wall up just with motivational quotes. And that's the reason that I do this type of work. I've seen the amazing results. I meet students now when they're released from juvenile justice facilities. They forget my name, but they'll say, hey, that's the Motivational Monday guy. Or I remember coming in, I still have my little card, that vision card that you gave me. And it was amazing. About 3 years ago, my wife and I, we were at a Boys and Girls Club fundraiser facility, and this young man was parking cars. And he looked at me, he said, it's a super Saturday. And we started laughing. He said, I have my vision card in my pocket. When you were sharing with me that there's something amazing and awesome about me, but I have to believe in those possibilities and take action on a daily basis. And he said, this is one of the things I'm doing. I've been released and now I'm working at the Boys and Girls Club.
So, that's fabulous. And Will, I would love to integrate all of that into our Discovering Me programs because it sounds fabulous.
Oh,
I love that. What was the Monday? What was the Monday called?
Every week I change it. I start off with this a magnificent Monday. It's a marvelous Monday.
Oh,
yes,
love it.
It's a motivational Monday.
Yeah, and what was Tuesday?
I call it a transformational Tuesday, or thankful Tuesday, or tremendous Tuesday.
Fabulous. Love it, love it, love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's really great. I really like to acknowledge your passion. I'm even receiving the energy of your passion through cyberspace.
Wow. This is great. Well, we're all on that same cloth and using our same gifts.
And you're also going to love our licensees in the Caribbean because their foundation is called the Victorious Living Foundation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah.
Their pictures are on our website, Will. When you go to PeopleSmart World, scroll down and you'll see not only JJ and her bio, but our gal and husband in the Virgin Islands that are just so amazing. We met them at Money and Do last summer. Well, thank you for dropping in, Will. And we'll look forward to having you in the class. You're going to be a real leader, and we'll see how we can integrate everything that you know to be true and work. And I see us already. I can see new plans like designing our Discovering Me in a module that goes in specifically to that market that you were talking about with the detention and people, the kids. These are the kids we want to reach so wonderfully. I'm just very excited about this. So there's a reason. God has a plan that you were free to come today and that you were free to be in this course with us, you know?
Yes.
It's very important. There was a reason. Otherwise, you'd have been too busy.
So I wanted to make sure that I pause to acknowledge you, Carol, and say thank you, and I appreciate you. And like I said, I want to pause from this birthday celebration to let you know that I'm thankful and grateful that you're in my life. And I'm looking forward to how we're going to just combine our talents, all of us together, to do things that can make a shift in the world. And I believe, I just want to say this too, as I was talking with school districts, and a lot of it is just languaging, and they're focusing a lot on the mindset and social and emotional well-being, and also mental health awareness. And when you really dive deep into that, Carol, it's just, if you start looking at the DISC profile and helping people discover who they are and how they work with others and how they can work collaboratively together. It's all in there. It's just, like I was sharing with one of the school superintendents, it's just the language and the terminology that's being used. But everything that you're talking about through DISC, that's what the schools are, saying of how do we identify and know who students are? And I says, it first starts with building a relationship with them, connecting with them, and helping them see their uniqueness. So it's all right there in the DISC.
Yeah.
Bill, all right there. Go ahead, JJ. Yes, I want you to.
Bill, this is great because when we show you this tool and you read through it, it would really be good to see if we're hitting the language that they need to hear, that they will hear with this tool. So We
Let me
would
just say, to explain, Will, JJ has helped us design inside the standard disc profile. We've added pages. This was Sandra's design in the beginning when she designed this Discovering Me for Youth. And JJ is a middle school principal for how many years, JJ? And
11.
11,
Wow.
and principal of the year out of Colorado for many times. I mean, she's just this incredible educator, and she knows, and the leadership and youth were her market too. So you're going to love working with her, and I'm going to put the two of you together collaborating and looking at the design of our exercises. And what she's saying is you can help us make sure the language in there is where we get to bring out the principles that you're talking about and add them to the basic distinctions that DISC gives them, just who am I and who's everybody else? How do I appreciate you? And then you take it to the next level. So, and JJ has a visioning exercise too. You guys have so much in common.
Wow.
I can't wait to share mine with you. So we have got to talk. We got to set up a time, a meeting, and Zoom. Okay.
Well, and also too, maybe we can all get together and do some planning when I'm in San Diego at the end of August.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, maybe we could do like a pilot conferencey thing.
All right. Well, thank you, Will. We'll excuse you to your party. Thank you so much for checking in. And we'll see you later.
We'll talk soon, and I'll continue to make it
Okay. Thanks, Will.
Thanks. Okay.
All
See you.
Bye-bye.
Happy birthday to your daughter.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. So that's an example for everyone just tuning in right now. We're now in our introduction. I'm going to record this. We started recording partway through Will's testament of what he's been doing with the youth and why he's so excited about DISC. All of you have been invited to this call or to look at the recording. I know there's never one convenient time for everyone to meet. So I just want to welcome you. I'm Carol Dysart, and we have Sandra Davis from New Zealand, my business partner from there. And we've been together for many years. We met in 1980, and she's helped me develop a lot of the curriculum that we teach. Most of the ebooks that we've written are her co-author, and she is the brilliant designer of this Discovering Me for Youth concept and platform, which includes a DISC profile, just the same kind of DISC you take no matter where you get it, or whichever profile you're taking, you can generate from our system. We have a master license for the Alessandra 24/7 profile system. So you can input and get one DISC profile, but turn it into a DISC for leaders, DISC for coaches, DISC for career development, DISC for customer service, DISC for couples. We use the DISC for individuals and turns it into couples. And we're going to give you a tour today around what some of the resources are, because if you ever didn't know whether you wanted to be trained in how to use DISC and be part of our consulting team, I think you'll know by the end of this call what is available to you, and then you can make a clear decision. We want everyone that wants to be in our team and our group to be here, regardless of what your situation is, both time-wise and financially. I've made this summer available to all of you, and I'm going to tell you more about that. But I also want to introduce JJ, Dr. JJ Sawyer. She has met me only recently in the last about 6 months. She took DISC in a course that I was co-leading with one of our best friends, Shirlene Reeves. And JJ just caught the vision of DISC from what she did her profile, and she called me, she says, I just have to do this. And then she told me her background as a principal and a middle school teacher, middle school principal, and she was speaking my language, just like Will said, you know, it's all in the same language. It's like, she said, we've got to work together. So she met with Sandra and I, and Sandra and she put their heads together because what we wanted was products that we could take out in the world that no one else has, but that everyone needs. And our goal with this company, PeopleSmart World is the name of our company, and PeopleSmart Enterprises is the holding LLC. But PeopleSmart World, when you go to that website, you will know that you are on a place that we want the world to become people smart. people smart about themselves, people smart about everyone. But JJ, say hi and give us a little bit of your background. Yes.
Hello, hello. How's everybody? Yes, Carol, time moves really fast, and it's not 6 months. We met last April. That's when I was with Shirlene Reeves Business
Oh my goodness.
Coaching, and that's where I met you because you gave us all the disc for sales. And
Yes.
so that's been a long time. So it's been about a year and 2 months. And then of course, Sandra, I got to now, she's about a 4-monther. And so we have come together, and I can't wait for you to see this tool that you're getting ready to see. That's a disc tool, but it's different, and it's going to really help improve communication and building rapport. So basically, like Carol said, I taught in the classroom for 22 years. I was very blessed to have kindergarten through 7th grade. And then I decided to come out of the classroom and become an administrator. And so I became a principal, and I had 1,600 middle school kids. And I wish I had this tool while I was a principal, because I know I would take all my kids through it. Because once they start to understand, especially in middle school, then they really start to treat each other more with respect, and it goes up into the high school years and life. So this is why I got excited about it. I started to look at the tool, and I wanted to work with the two of them because I thought that I wanted people to really learn it to change their behavior, not just know it and put it on the shelf. And I have this whole belief in I will not be put on a shelf. I will be put in your head. And so we designed some work exercises throughout the assessment profile to force you to go back and have to reread and write in the answers, because the more you read it, like the first law of learning is called repetition. And the more you have to go back and find information, the more you start to internalize it. It's not good enough to be intellectual. You must internalize it in order for it to shift and help you learn how to communicate with everyone. So that's how I got involved. And so I'm pretty excited to work with these two. And we're getting ready to take this, like Carol said, we're going to change the world. And today is the time, because especially for our youth, today they're stepping up and taking over. They're tired of these school shootings. They're tired of people coming to their schools and churches and making them feel unsafe. And so you've noticed in the last couple of months, the walkouts, the having meetings with their principals so they can have an organized walk, and they're talking the same language. They want to feel safe. And I think that this is the time this tool is going to shine in their lives.
Thank you so much. That's great. And Sandra, I didn't want to minimize. I want to give you a chance to give people a sense of your background and talent, because what you're getting with this whole course, and anytime you're working with PeopleSmart, you're getting Sandra. She runs the show. She's actually our managing partner, CEO. I'm just the disc master. So tell us a little about your background, Sandra.
Thank you, Carol. Well, I'm in the DISC model. I'm a high SC with a midline I and a low D. So I'm very systematic, very detailed, very loyal, and I have learned everything about DISC from this DISC master, Carol. How many years have you been doing DISC?
Almost 40 years now.
Almost 40 years. And Carol lived with me for about 4 years, 3.5 years in New Zealand, about 1999, I believe, 2000.
And we arrived on your doorstep.
Arrived on my doorstep.
I'm right here.
And so she lived with my family and I, and we created PeopleSmart Solutions and Training, and I fell in love with DISC. And I must tell you, DISC has created this huge, what can I say? It's like opportunity with, for example, my husband of 32 years. He's very different than me. He's a people person, and it's given me a deeper understanding of how to connect with him. And so I became passionate about working with youth when I was introduced to a local school, and I was doing leadership training with them using DISC. And one of the deputy principals said, Sandra, do you think you could teach this to the kids? And I went, sure, not knowing how I was going to do it, by the way. And I went, I'm sure we could. How old are they? And he told me 12, 13-ish. He went, I'm sure we could do something between you and I. And so I created a 2-lesson plan because my background is facilitation and instructional design with adults. I've never worked with kids. Wow, I fell in love with working with kids. JJ, I know why you've been a principal for so long. You have a lot more fun with kids than you can do with adults, I tell you. You know, and I arrived in the school hall and I had about 25 kids and they all walked into Bruno Mars, you know, like, who do you think you are playing? And they all going, oh, what is this all about? You know, I had a flip chart stand up the front and I had them in a half circle, no seats and tables. And I had stuffed toys sitting on top of the flip chart stand. And they're going, oh, well, we're in for a ride. So anyway, it was a major success. And these kids fell in love with DISC. You know, they just took to it like ducks on water. And so, yeah, we had a lot of fun and it was very successful. And so I thought, And then the school got me back. They were having some bullying problems in the school. And they said, could you do something with bullying? And I went, sure, not knowing how, by the way. That seems to be my mantra, by the way. I didn't know how, but I worked it out. And so I did an...
It's called an IS.
Oh, is it? I worked it out. And so what I did is I designed... I'm a Kiwi. Yeah.
And the Kiwis have a number 9 wire mentality, just so you know. I went for 3 weeks, stayed for 4.5 years, and I learned that those Kiwis, when you live on an island 3,500 miles away from the nearest other island, you get to do things on your own. And so number 9 wire is a wire that's thin enough to make a bicycle wheel repair or mend a fence or fix a appliance in a kitchen. They just learned how to do everything themselves. So you're part of that culture, my dear.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, I thought, I want to use accelerated learning and I wanted to use facilitation, and I knew that I had to teach something as well because I had all these teachers watching me too, by the way. So we did 1 lesson a week for 8 weeks, and I focused on DISC. I focused on virtues of character, like human qualities that would counteract the effects of bullying. We talked about what bullying is and was. We talked about culture. We talked about a lot of things. And then that was very successful. And I thought, I'm onto something here. And so hence the Discovering Me programs were born, I guess. And then it's progressively moved further as we've about 3 years now, we've created online assessments, facilitators guides, ebooks, materials, lesson plans, and we've got lots and lots and lots of intellectual property in our license. So, yeah, so I'm very excited to have JJ on board. Her and I, we're like pigs in mud when we get together, I tell you. I mean, we could...
Well, and the 3 of you
Yeah.
That's great. Well, and Sandra's going to give us a tour through some of the tools, but I wanted to just kind of pull all this together and put it in a framework that you get this team of expanding enthusiasm, expanding talent, expanding people. The people that I've contacted and that have contacted me for training, we start with money and you is where most people come, because I have been providing money and you with the DISC profile for the 9 years that they've been in business. And and I was trained in 79, and in that year, the next year I went to the first Money and You that was held in the USA in California. Excuse me, the second year it was in the USA, but it was the first in California. And in that, I walk in the door and they're doing the DISC profile. At that point in 1980, we were using paper and a special pen that you didn't have a computer to generate the result. So there's a special chemical release and people could add up all the squares and the stars and the triangles that made up their choices. And that's how you got your graph. So I went, wait a minute, I just got trained in this. And they said, you did? Good, you can be our DISC master. And they were like looking for somebody to take over that job.
I wondered how you got in there, Carol.
Yeah, and so they just won. DC Cordova owns the company. The designer of the course was Bobby DePorter and Marshall Thurber. And so they took their design, and it was in a course, and DC put the logistics behind it all. She saw that if they wanted to do this and make it big, and now 40 years later, it's all over the world, mainly in China, Australia, New Zealand, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. They're now in Cambodia and Brunei, and we're going to Korea. We're already in Japan. So the whole Australasia community is connecting, because we found out that those progressive Japanese, Koreans, Chinese, Malaysians, they all know that they want to follow the American model of entrepreneurism. And Money and You teaches entrepreneurism. And the reason DISC is in Money and You is that one of the 11 or 12 or 13 games that make up this 3.5-day course, and I'm giving you a little more about it because I want everyone to take this program, if you haven't already, and come back and review it and be part of the participation team and the receiving team that we actually have in the game. This is a change of life foundational thinking. But the reason they use DISC in their course, and we play a game with it for about an hour and a half one day, the reason it's there is that they know that an entrepreneur is someone who wears all the hats until they get big enough that they can hire staff to take over different jobs. But if an owner of a business, who usually starts like the E-Myth book that told about the, can't even remember the business, but let's say you're a hairdresser and you go, I really love doing hair and I really hate working for this other boss, so I want my own business. So the hair designer only knows about hair design, and they know they want to do a business, but they don't know accounting. They don't know how to set up their systems. They don't know anything about the systems of business. And so that's what entrepreneurism training and why Money and You fit into a slot that wasn't being handled, wasn't being taught at Stanford or Princeton or Yale or Harvard. There really wasn't entrepreneurism back in 1980 and 78 when it started. So this course became the granddaddy in an accelerated learning, and it taught people how to teach from left brain, right brain stimulation, because you learn from the left brain, but it's your right brain that's picking up all the sequence, and whether you have music and color and light and change of pace and change of state. And so Bobby and Marshall had been trained by one of the best accelerated learning men in the world called Georgi Lozanov. Anyway, there's a whole history of that I'll refer you to if you want to see it on the website called moneyandyou.com. And so they said, but the entrepreneur needs to know their own style, and they need to know who to surround themselves with on a team. Because if you're trying to run a business and you don't know that, you either have to outsource and have somebody you can count on to outsource your legal. Most of us know that. We get a lawyer. We don't plan to put them on a full-time salary. And we get an accountant, and we don't put them on a full-time salary. They're there to do specific jobs. But if you as the entrepreneur don't know what your style is, how to interact with those different personalities, and know that you need to bring in other people as you grow your business, you want your executive and leadership team to be made up of people that are not only going to balance your thinking, like Sandra and I are such a perfect example. She's said she's a high SC, which does all the systems, the detail. She says, please, please, please give me all this kind of work to do. I went, what? You mean you like that stuff? And she laughed. She said, I would so rather do that stuff than what you do, which is out there, enrolling and talking and marketing and schmoozing, and didn't want to be on the stage. She didn't want to be the marketing person. She loves doing what had to be done. And my business was kind of like, okay, I'll just be a self-employed consultant, because I couldn't even think about running a whole business by myself. Money and You addresses that. There's millions of small business owners that want to be a business, They don't know how to be it. So Money and You sets a context. It's not the whole how-to business school, and they do have that as a graduate program, but the context of how do you play win-win? How do you choose your people? That's where DISC comes in. How do you know about yourself? That's where DISC comes in. Enough to know to be authentic. Where's your strengths and where's your weakness? Now you have suppliers to talk to. You have customers to talk to. You have all the angry people. You have the happy people. You have to do marketing. Sandra, can you go on mute, honey? We can hear
sorry.
you. And so you have to know this. And where is it taught in school? It's not. That's why JJ went, oh my gosh, I've had all these curriculum. I've been teaching major stuff. I was teacher of the year. They're telling me I'm the best teacher, but we're not teaching anything like DISC. And I knew that. I was a high school teacher, and then I was a college teacher. And then Sandra gets pulled in and working with the middle school kids again. And so we knew from our own experience that there was nobody filling this void. And in fact, when I started working with Tony Alessandro, who you'll see in a lot of our video trainings, he's the owner of Assessments 24/7. He's been a personal friend of mine and a client. He was my first Apple computer client because I ran an Apple computer store after my business school for a while. He said, I forget what he said. What was I just saying about him? No, Tony. Oh, he finally got that DISC was so important. He'd been a teacher of sales and marketing and sales. And when he got the DISC distinctions and realized how important it was, that was a tool he wanted to produce. So now all the tools that we produce in our business PeopleSmart world, and that we can sign you up and train you and certify you in our system, because my experience, the one thing it gave me that nobody else has duplicated so far that I know of in all the different people that learn DISC, most everyone knows what D means, what I means, what S and C is. Not everybody, but you learn it pretty quickly. And then most people go away. They go, oh, I know DISC. No, you don't. What there is to know about DISC is what we teach in our PeopleSmart method of DISC interpretation. Because if you don't know how to read that graph, you're going to miss half of the joy of what this is. And people start to get involved in their own world with it and use it on a daily basis. So Sandra, now, if you would mind, I wouldn't mind showing us, if you give us a tour of just what happens. I want all of you to see yourself going to our website and signing up. How do they do that? Where do they go? And then what are some of the things they're going to get from the class? Are you ready to show us that?
Okay, darling, just let me go on to our PeopleSmart World site. And
Okay.
so I'll go from start to finish. That might be a good idea.
Yeah, I want everyone to know how to do it. And then while she's setting that up, I'm going to tell you. So once you're getting in the training, this particular training, this is the first time I've done this, and I like the idea if everybody can participate. I'm giving you sign up, and if you sign up by June 25th, it's our little incentive to get you into action, because we know if you wait the summer, you just won't do it. But if you pay by June 25th, there's a very special price. And then if you refer other people to future trainings, we will pay you for your referrals. So you could literally earn your way through this course just by bringing other people who pay the full price. But you'll get some very good discount right now by signing up for the 25th. Then you also will get how many free profiles to practice with, Sandra?
Usually it's 4. There's one for themselves, and then they practice with 3 other people.
Okay, so you get 4, and if you have already done a DISC, we will generate a new report for you in the new birds, just to give you that example of it. So you're going to get, let's say that you sold all 4 of those profiles to a client, you could actually earn a lot more than the cost of the course back, but we recommend you use them to train, and then you sell a few.
And also, Carol, I would really like everyone that is taking our certification summer special to do a birds, take a Discovering Me and You assessment, because I want them to go through all of those activities.
Yes. So we'll put everybody into a DISC for birds the birds. And as I say in my intro, it's not for the birds. It's about, birds are usually a wonderful analogy. So go ahead now and let me just think if I said it all just a second. So you can sell the profiles. Once you get trained, you immediately have access to your own link to generate the profiles. And then we bill you at the end of every month for the profiles you've used. So you're buying them at a wholesale cost. You don't have to pay in advance. You get the profile into your system, you send them out, and they're customized for with your logo and your footer. So then the PeopleSmart world kind of disappears as a transparent, you are a private label site of your own. And there's lots that we'll train you with and about after you're trained that you can take this to another level. But you can sign up other companies and give them their own logos on their reports. It's a huge site and a huge ability for you to literally run a business. And if you don't want to run a business on DISC, I don't care. We have makeup designers coming, we have photographers coming, and they've already got a very busy business, but they want to include it to use it with their clients. So we'll talk more about that later. Think about yourself and who you know and who you could help, what you would want to do if you could wave the magic wand, and come and join us with this program. So go ahead, Sandra. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Carol. So firstly, if you would go to PeopleSmartWorld.com, and that is our training website. You're welcome. We've got JJ on our site here. You're welcome to read about her. We have our licensees, Roy and Nicole. They're also here on the landing page. You're welcome to also request an ebook if you place your email and name details in here and tell us why you came to the site. Also, if you scroll down, you'll see down here on the right, you've got DISC for Youth and DISC Certification Training. So you click on the certification training link, and then that will take you to our certification page. Here you can read all about the training and what it includes. I won't go through that right now. You can read at your own leisure. And if you scroll further down here, you will see here, contact us to request a training application form. So you would put your details in here, and then in the comment box, you would tell me the reason you are sending the request and why you would like a training application form. And also it would be very interesting to find out what is the reason that you would like to complete our training. The training application form does have some tick boxes there that you can tick also to let us know how you are going to apply what you have learned with us. And then that gives us a good indication of how we will work with you. Because as you know, we know there are many different applications for DISC. So pretty much that's it. You submit. This comes to me, and I will then send you a training application form that you would need to complete. On that training application form, you would then be given an opportunity. It has the full price of our training, which is $15.95, but you would let me know that this is the summer special that you are applying for, and then I would know to give you that special price. I think it's $7.95. And also on the training application form, there is a tick box if you would like to make 3 installments on that payment, depending on your financial budget at the time. So that's pretty much it to join us in the summer special certification program. I'd also like to briefly share with you, anything else you'd like to say on that, Carol?
No, it just goes to another page when you get the form. I mean, you'll get the form back. So yeah. This is where I want you to write down, if you have a special condition, like you really want to teach DISC, but you just don't know exactly how to apply it, or you don't have the funds right now, but you'll have them in July or August, or we want to work with you. Just that's the point. We're here to now build an international team of people that need and want this tool, and we know that timing is everything. So that's it. So write the letter about it in that comment section, and then we'll deal with you. And be sure to include your phone number in your information so I can call you.
And also too, your if you might have a WhatsApp on your phone, or you may have a Skype address, just so we can get back to you other than email. Okay, so I'd like to share a little bit about the birds report. Shall I take them to the birds? Just one moment. I just have to stop sharing the screen, and then I have to go into a new screen.
You know, I have to give JJ credit for this. At first, when I heard that this guy, in fact, I heard him speak when JJ spoke. We have every year, by the way, in January, Tony puts on an amazing DISC conference for people who are certified and training in DISC. So that's another event that I really want you to start to look forward to and budget. That you, and he had a speaker, Merrick Rosenthal's, who said, I taught DISC for 20 years and nobody could remember what DISC meant. So he went home, was inspired by birds, and this is what he came up with in the context of the whole report. And we have now, you'll see our customized version of it. But we have 4 styles right there on the front. Eagles,
parrots, doves, and the wise old owl.
Owls, and you can figure out what style each of those is. And you are 1 or 2 of them, maybe even 3 in combination, but there'll be one that really resonates with you more than others. And people, JJ said to me, Carol, people won't ever forget their style. I want to teach the birds. So she brought it into my awareness, and it's just, that's history, man. Anything about that, JJ? You don't want to say anything? Okay.
Okay.
No. You know, I got so, thanks, Carol, for that. These birds really hit me because, number one, you're all 4, but it really gets to the 8-year-old self. At 8 years old, you're open and you're able to teach. And so that's why I loved it. And so that's what got me so excited. And so I was telling Carol that, because she kept asking, now, why do you like the birds? And that's why I like it, because people even smile through it. They get excited about it, even though it's the same information as DISC. But remember, sometimes that DISC is more intellectual and it doesn't get internalized. This will automatically, they will never forget. All right, that's all.
Yeah, and also I would just like to add to that, in the learning brain, we have frames. It's a little bit like a frame that we put a picture in to learn, and then our brain links all these pathways together. And so these birds, they support our memory to associate certain information. So, for example, you know, an eagle is a lot easier to associate than perhaps the letter D. I mean, how many words in the English language start with the letter D? It's like, it's too much. Whereas this is a very easy way to remember your primary style. And remember, you have often more than one primary style, which is the highest point on your graph.
JJ's holding up the little cutout of an eagle that you can set on people's desks. There's a whole supply we can get for the different birds. She'll hold them up now as we go through this. And they also have full screen picture or cutouts of the birds so that you can really make a wow presentation. And if any of you do speaking at conferences or events, you would just like knock it out of the park to put these birds up and have it by a booth, and people were naturally attracted. What are you doing with this at this training conference? Okay.
So basically this report it's about a 29-page report, and it's very similar it has all the information that the other DISC reports have. However, we have given the flavor of the birds into it. And also we've created these fabulous activities thanks to JJ and myself, and actually the 3 of us, we've come up with all of this. Because, by the way, did you know that Carol has a master's in counseling, and she's a teacher. She's a past teacher. So, I mean, I only hang out with the best, by the way, guys. So This tool, this assessment, we love. Okay, so we're just going to chirp about it till the birds fly home. So this is the one that you will get in your certification summer special. It is a little bit different than the assessments 24/7 because we do not have a word sketch page, which if some of you have a DISC assessment, you will know what I'm speaking about. If you don't worry about it. We'll put that on the shelf and we'll talk to you about that another time. This is a 3-graph approach. You have your external, your internal. The external is what, Carol, in our other assessments? Hello. Oh, she's...
It's adapted. It's the adaptive style. It's who you think you are when you go to work every day. This is what you say you are. Graph 1 is external.
Yeah. And your internal?
That's who you are when you're not looking and trying to look like somebody that's at work or important or on a job. It's the real you that shows up at home. As you can see by this sample, this person thinks they're a high I and a high C at work, but really their I is the lowest with their S, and the C is not even quite as high. But the D comes up. They're under a little bit of pressure there, or when they're relaxed, the real them shows. And then the numerical difference becomes the graph 3, which is kind of the overview of what some people see and other people see. We generally teach and focus on that internal style to work with you to say, this is what shows up under pressure. So own it, and then you can adapt your style and go up, as this person thought they were up in a high I and high C, or excuse me, I should use the bird language, high parrot and high owl, but low eagle. So there's this, you know, once you know how to read this graph, this is what our training does. There they are, JJ. Once you learn how to read the graph as a description of a personality or a person's behavior, you have the keys to the kingdom now. You know what they need, you know what they don't like, you know what they're trying to be, what's important to them, etc.
Thank you, Carol. Excellent. So we're not going to go into a training mode today. I'm just giving you a little synopsis of, or an overview of the report that you will get. Also, there's one other report that I really, really love called our collaboration report. And I was really wanting to share that with you as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get that up on the screen, and let me have a look and see if I can find it. I have to go here. Is there anything else you want to talk about while I'm getting this loaded up, Carol?
Yeah, I just was on mute.
Oh, okay.
Make a list as you're thinking of people and things while you're watching this right now. Please make a list of the people that you know this could appeal to, or that you could go to and do some work with because they could really use this. Not only just because they need, DISC is not for fixing anyone, it's for identifying what you already are, what your strengths already are. People know your style when you walk in the room. So DISC is not a psychological model, it's not a fix me up, it's not to solve a problem except to bring it aware. Awareness in a person is where any change can be made. Until you know who you are, like Money and You says in the first distinction, for things to change, first I must change. And if you don't know where you're starting from, it's just like you all over the place trying to figure out who you should be. And that's why a lot of people don't know who they are. They don't know their purpose. They're looking for their path. And if you're looking for your path, you'll find it in the training and with DISC at some level, I promise you.
Okay, thanks, Carol. Okay, so this is our collaboration report. And if any of you, or some of you may even have one of our private label associate accounts, if you haven't, this one is included in your admin account, and it's actually free for you to generate. So therefore, if you on-sell this to your clients, it is 100% clear profit for you. So this is the collaboration report, and it's a comparison report of two people's DISC styles. As you can see here, these two, we've got Matt and we've got Dan. And so this is a classical DISC style overview of each of their styles, and I won't go into detail, but it gives you an overview of each of their styles. But what I really like about it, this is a brilliant coaching tool for creating or starting a conversation with two people and talking about what their strengths are together, what their weaknesses might be, what their opportunity for growth together in the relationship might be. And if you integrate it in and have the conversation be in regards to the partnership or the roles that they are in, if they're working together, it opens up some great conversations. And I've designed a 3-page debrief guide that you can also use to guide the process of this debrief, of this report. So again, I'll just briefly scroll down. Work style tendencies. We've got the motivational ideal environments for each of these guys.
Just let me interrupt right there. How many couples know what each other's style is, like these kinds of areas? How many couples, how many people that you're in relationship with, maybe it's a boss, maybe it's a direct report, maybe it's a sister or brother, maybe it's a parent. What if you had this on each person that was important to you in your family, and the two of you could sit down and go, like Matt says, I like a favorable work environment containing positive attitudes and optimistic spirit. That's what he needs. Over here, Dan's saying, I just want few sudden shocks. No unexpected problems, please, or crises. Like, that's a different thinking he's bringing to the same thing they talk about for the whole profile. So
yes, and I also know Matt personally, and this is him to a T. And he ran this collaboration report on a new manager that he was hiring. And it really allows them to hit the ground running, so to speak, when they start to work together. Yeah, so
fabulous. If you're a business coach, you could do one of these pages a day, or a session, or work with a team. If you're a coach, this is a phenomenal tool to put into your little toolkit, big toolkit, and work out. And you can have exercises. You can use this. It could take you through a whole year of coaching with somebody.
And also applying it in the educational environment. You know, you have a lot of student leaders in a school. You could do collaboration reports on all the student leaders so that they can really collaborate and work harmoniously together very quickly.
Oh, very good point. It makes me think peer-to-peer training, that's really getting big and big. You can't teach a high school student how to draw this information out, but you can give the student the tool for them to facilitate two people talking. And where you have any kind of conflict, this will unlock. And people have come to me with a conflict. We go through something like this and they walk out arm in arm because they just get it. They go, oh my gosh, I've been trying to make you be just like me. No wonder we've had a problem. And people do that instinctively. JJ, question, comment?
I've never seen this report, and I think this is amazing to actually have side by side. Oh my goodness. You know, when you talked about couples and families, can you imagine? I just started to see this could go and change so many people, no matter what type of job or work or what they're doing. But the family connection you just said about, whew, that's amazing.
Yes, and at some point, I would really, really love to bring some type of workshop or seminar together where it could be families, it could be in the work environment, come together and work through just this report. You could spend a whole day workshopping it, by the way.
Well, again,
I would like to suggest that just for the three of us, if you could do this for us, and then we could that type of training between the three of us. Absolutely.
And it looks, for example, you know, when communicating with Matt, please do this. And I often say, well, Matt, choose the top two And sometimes they go, oh, well, I want to choose all of them. I said, well, you can choose all of them. And so, or they just say, oh, well, I can only think of one. So it's just whatever shows up in the space. So do this with Matt, but don't ever do this with Matt.
Yeah, this is where that comes in, where I've always taught this, say, teach others how to train you, teach others how to treat you. If you don't tell me how you need to be treated and talked to and don't do and do, how am I going to know? Who's going to teach me about you if you don't do it? And people don't have a tool to do it. They don't think, oh, you mean I could ask my boss to treat me this way instead of that? Which I've told many of you that story where I did exactly that. And it changed this life of an employee forever. He was about to quit. And instead he said, I love it now. My boss understands me. I feel like an important part of the company. I now leave when the job is done, whereas before I was watching the clock till 5 and I was out of there. It's like magic, but it isn't magic. It's just, this is some way. You cannot get to this without a tool like what we have. That's why I've stayed with it for 40 years, Sandra and JJ. You know, there's nowhere else to go. All of the other profiles, you'll say, oh, well, what about Myers-Briggs? Or what about the YouTube BBB profile? They're all fine. Take them, do them. But start with DISC as your foundational understanding about how you are and how style works. Then you add the other profile distinctions. It just makes it richer for you.
Thanks, Carol.
Let me ask you this question. Is this a collaboration one if people want to have the birds in there? Because is Matt a dove?
Oh, no, this is a bit, you don't know this gentleman. He lives in Australia.
But I'm looking at his comments versus Dan's struggles. And you may tend to take constructive criticism personally, possibly losing focus as to how it relates to the task. And then Dan you tend to be a selective listener, hearing only what you want to hear. And so my question to you is, when I was reading the things to do and all that, is Matt a dove?
Well, it shows right in the beginning. Show us, yes. You get their graph. So you see the...
Okay, so which one is
one of them? So the solid... Go ahead, dear.
Matt here is the dark bar graph. So he is a high I with a secondary S.
Okay, so he's a
IS, yes.
Well, he's a parrot dove.
Yeah, in his adapted, in his natural, he's also an S and an I.
So I was right.
Yeah.
And then, what's the other young man, Dan?
Dan, he is a high S with a secondary C.
With the...
Yeah, he's the dove with the owl, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, good spotting, JJ. Well done. Well done. And so basically this is a fabulous report. Again, this is the great page to start a conversation. Here I like to talk about this page and create some strategies for moving forward. So Matt struggles, and then I get them to choose their top 2 or 3. We talk about how we might counteract those struggles, and then I start to bring in the character virtues, and then we create some coaching strategies around shifting these struggles. So brilliant report. So I'm just aware of time, Carol, and also we would like to share the private label backend administration platform. Are we?
I think not. I think we'll do that in another call. It's just there's too much there. And what we did want to say, because we're wrapping up our hour, I think we wanted to make sure everybody had time to go enjoy their Friday night. But we're going to invite you to ask more questions, whatever inspired you here. And know that one of the sessions that I plan to do with the mastermind is to, in fact, every session that we have, people will come on to the mastermind Zoom meeting, and you'll have taken a profile, or your Sandra, go into mute, please. If you'll be able to you'll have done a profile, or you'll come back with your profile, and you'll say, how would you interpret this, Carol? And then I will interpret that report, just like what we started to do there with JJ asking, who is this? And we talk about high, medium, and low. And so you'll hear how I do it, and that will teach you what I did, and you can repeat it at all. It does not take being a rocket scientist. You do not have to have a master's in counseling. You do not have a license to be a psychologist or a therapist. You don't need any special qualifications. All you need is a love for people and a love for giving back to the world, making a difference in the world. And if you don't have a way to do that right now, this could be your vehicle to do that. And to participate and take it into the market. My makeup artist, she wants to do it with her makeup clients, and she does, photo shoots with movies, and now she can take it to directors and introduce it. We all have a social area that people don't know what we do or what we have, and it's our job to tell them now. I've just so loved DISC. I did it really, it was a selfish thing. I just loved and got so much passion out of it, and hearing people's wonderful stories and helping them and getting, oh my gosh, you've changed my life. I mean, that's a regular occurrence you will hear when you start giving people their profile. JJ, you want to just say anything you've seen with your networking? You've been networking and getting people.
Yes, even a doctor, took this report, and she could tell that she was struggling raising up her. At that time, she knew about the birds, and this patient she recognized was a dove, and she was so busy trying to be an owl that she couldn't communicate with that bird. And that's what gave me the idea of, oh my goodness, can you see how this could impact the medical field? Give nurses tools to be able to adjust and work with their patients in a better way, in a more successful way. It can go everywhere and anywhere and change people's lives. The thing that I like about this, it makes you learn to love who you are, and then you will love others. You'll know how to communicate with them. You'll know how to shift. You'll know how to pay attention to the type of people that you surround yourself with, and it becomes more powerful. What I say is power, the leading with power for positive performance, and the power comes from being self-aware so that you can be intentional about your behavior, which creates a mindful leader. And so this is what this tool does. And so that's the one thing that I wanted to add to this conversation.
Thank you. And we didn't get to Sandra's passion for adding to our profiles. No one else gets it but the Money and You people and our clients. And what is that, Sandra?
Oh, I'm very passionate about developing character virtues within youth, within anyone actually. So we will probably run a special training just on virtues, human qualities within us. We all have about, there's over 100 actually, but we work with about 52.
Yeah, but like courage for D's.
Yes, assertiveness. All of the DISCs have these character strength virtues. The D is naturally assertive. The I is naturally friendly. The S is naturally loyal and patient. And the C is naturally conscientious and has high integrity. So,
yep. Integrity. And what Sandra showed me, and I had to adjust my thinking just to open it up to see the possibility. What JJ just said, and what even Will was saying earlier, and what Sandra's been saying, all people want, and I've seen this and why I stayed with DISC, all people want is to be loved, heard, and understood. That's all. Love. It's a love language. Well, in business, we don't just go around talking love as a word, but it's a virtue. And Sandra brings in the virtues. It's actually the spiritualized qualities that don't have a touch, feel, material deal to it. It's the feelings. That's our intelligence. It's our generosity. It's our patience. It's our willingness and caring and serving. And when you start to fill your thoughts with the virtues, and Sandra's training me, she goes, I complimented her the other day for really a job well done. And she said, what virtues did you notice? And we're teaching young people how to compliment with a virtue. And if I wanted to be more systematic and patient and wonderful as she is, I could learn to increase those qualities. You know, we all have all these qualities. I want to end with the reminder, you are not just a bird, an eagle, or anything. You are not just a letter, any one of the four. You are all of them. Internally, you have access to all of it. You just didn't know it because you've been patterned and programmed ever since childhood to think a certain way, be a certain way, behave a certain way. And we all know the style patterns come out over and over and over again. That's why Marston became so famous with his awareness that the emotions of normal people are just that they all want to be okay, but they do things differently. And he's the one, by the way, that invented Wonder Woman, you know. Go ahead.
Also, I would just like to finish off with a beautiful sentence out of this book called The Chameleon. And this is Merrick Rosenberg, who is the founder of the Birds Assessment that we have done a collaboration with. And so he writes, this book is wonderful, okay? And he has this wonderful statement. We cannot achieve our greatest potential and cultivate deep connections with others unless we live authentically. Okay, so it's about living authentically, loving and owning who you are. And we're all okay. And DISC, if you do this training with us over summer, I guarantee you will not be the same person that you came with as you leave with, because you're hanging out with three, what is it, where you're flying with three eagles, you ain't scratching on the ground with turkeys or something like that. So and I like to have some fun, if you haven't actually worked that out by now. No.
She's crazy, and JJ's even crazier. I'm the boring one around the group, but I love a laugh. So let us know what you want. I will send this out to everyone that has asked for it. And if you want to ask for it now, ask for it when you call me, and text me anytime you have a question, and I will call you as soon as I'm free. Just go online again, PeopleSmartWorld.com, scroll down, fill in the blank for a free ebook that Sandra and I wrote, and she took to another whole level. And then keep going down and click on certification training. We will have other trainings, like the training for the Discovering Me for Youth doesn't necessarily require a full DISC certification. You might just be trained to be a Discovering Me leader. And that is not the same depth of having to interpret things with the DISC. So that'll be a different course, a different price. It'll be shorter probably in time, and it's what we want to train people though to teach all over the world, all over the country and the world. And then there's also, we have a course called DISC Foundations, which is like once you go in and do a $100,000 job and profile a corporation and get on a retainer that they pay you every month to be available and do different profiles for their people. And those are not uncommon kinds of contracts, by the way. If you want to think about, can I make money with this? Yeah. You with a contract. What was I going to say on that?
Oh, if you have a consulting contract like that, you know, as you would be looking at a private label platform, and we would support you all the way with that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have lots of different ways and resources to bring to any kind of length. Oh, if you want to, the foundations is what I was saying, is something that you don't have to train every manager in a big company how to be a DISC interpreter, but they have to know how to read the DISC of their people and how to get it, you know, use it on a daily basis. It's a functional daily tool, like put a manual on your desk. You've got a hiree that your pain, and you need to know how to operate this is the operating manual for everyone in your family, for every employee, for every boss you ever had, for every relationship, only it's in love. It's a way to really hear them, see them, honor them, and recognize the gift that they are just the way they are. And if they need to change, then you coach them and they can change. So I think that handles it. PeopleSmartWorld.com. Call me, 619-309-6444 is my number. Again, 619-309-6444, or email Sandra at PeopleSmart.
Excuse me for interrupting, Carol. There's a number of emails, but this one would be good. Sandra at PeopleSmartWorld.com.
Oh, good. We have several.
Okay. And may the force be with you all.
Yeah.